And what I have here is from Psalms 119, verse 33 to 36. Teach me, O Lord, the way of your statutes, and I will keep it to the end, giving me understanding that I may keep your law and observe it with my whole heart. Lead me in the path of your commandments, for I delight in it. Incline my heart to your testimony, and not to be selfish again. And what you get out of this is the first two words, teach me. Okay, and then the next two words say, O Lord. So that is where you'll be given the understanding, because in verse 34, it states, give me understanding that I may keep your laws. So he'll give you understanding in the spirit to the law. And if you go back to verse 20, my soul is consumed with longing for your rules at all times. And his rules are like principalities and powers. So, and what he encourages us to do is keep the law. Then shall I have an answer for him who taunts me, for I trust in your word, and take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for my hope is in your rules. I will keep your law continually, forever and ever. And that's a spiritual law that he's talking about, which is to keep your spirit alive is to follow the law in the spirit. And that's difficult to do. So he brought us down to 10 commandments, which was to command the voice. Now the law is the law against the voice within, to not be corrupted. So it's the basis is that if you could command your voice to follow the law, then you will be subjected to the law, which would put you at the holiest state you can get to. The more laws you're following in the spirit, the more holier you are. And And 81 states, my soul longs for your salvation. I hope in your word. And it's always God's words, which is being spoken on the planet now. It's called language. Communication through the truth of the language is where you find God. You will not find God in the communication of lies. You will find God in the communication of truth, which is verbal communication based on the statements that you both communicated to each other to download as these algorithms. There's a download of communication algorithms coming in. You had exchanged these words and you expected that the exchange was truthful. And this is what 85 says. The insult has dug pitfalls for me. They do not live according to your law. So every time we don't follow the law spiritually, we could dig our own pitfall. Set a trap ahead of where you're going in your life. You're going to set a trap. And you're going to fall into it whenever you run into the trap. It's like a booby trap. And it's because you're basically leading yourself without the acknowledgement of God leading you on the path. Verse 66 says, teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I believe in your commandments. Now, it's saying once again, teach me good judgment and knowledge. Okay? Now, it doesn't state understanding. It just says teach me knowledge. Now, you're going to have to get the understanding to why you have the knowledge when he gives you the knowledge to use the knowledge. And then you'll have understanding, which is verse 73. Your hand has made and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn your commandments. And he's going back to the law, that may I have understanding and knowledge in your law, that I may follow it, because that is the future to existence, is spiritual laws. We surpass physical laws and we go to spiritual laws. And you must know the basis to your own testimony, okay, of one's soul, that when your life is in darkness, you seek the light and find the understanding to why you need to be in the light. 125 states, I am your servant. Give me understanding that I may know your testimonies. And he's talking about everyone that's ever lived has a testimony, okay? They have a story. And you, as long as the communication barrier is under the truth, then you'll have a good algorithm downloading, whether it be of the positive or the negative. But if it was still under the truth, you would still be downloading this truth information, and then you could decipher on the understanding part of it and understand the testimony that has just been given to you, because somebody has given you a testimony. Now 119 and 122 state, or 120, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say 122, 120, 119, 120, all the wicked of the earth you discard like dross. Therefore, I love your testimony. My flesh trembles for fear of you, and I am afraid of your judgments. And basically, it's saying, put away your wickedness on the earth. Discard it. Therefore, I'll love your testimony. You'll have a good testimony. If you give up your lifestyle that's considered be wicked, and you were to change your life, you have a better testimony than anyone who hasn't walked in the darkness. You'll have a better testimony, okay? And it's you'll have less of a judgment on you when it comes to judgment from God, whenever you got to go see Him, whenever your departure time has been called. Must be aware. 113 states, I hate double-minded, but I love your law. So, that's just most likely, like, don't be indecisive. Double-minded. Can't be like, you can't want to be a part of the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. That's double-minded. And it states that you should love the law, and it'll help you navigate that double-minded mindset to correction through the understanding of why you're on the borderline of the finish line, seeking the light, a path or the path of darkness. 115 states, depart from me, you evildoers, that I may keep the commandments of my God. And it's commandments that, this is Christ. This is Christ. He was here in the beginning with his, and He'll be here in the end. The Alpha and the Omega. He's in the beginning and the end. 95 states, the enemy lie in wait to destroy me, but I consider your testimonies. So I still considered to hear their testimonies. On what accusations they have against me. to want to destroy me. 93. I will never forget your precepts, for by them you have given me life. So Christ is the only one that gives you life. Well, the Father as well. The Father, if no one could go to the Father except through Christ. So once you get to Christ, then you could go to the Father. That's allowed. States it. And then it states that the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are all one. So 101 and 102. I hold my feet back from evil's way in order to keep your word. I do not turn aside from your rules, for you have taught me. And it constantly goes back to the Spirit of God is literally going to enter your vessel and teach you this knowledge and this understanding. So you're basically, what he's stating is, find him in the heavens and you can tap into the Akashic records to get him. This is what it keeps saying. In my eyes. Because the Father's in heaven. No one can get to the Father except through Christ. So Christ paid the price here. We get the offering of the Holy Spirit, then we can go to the Father. Because once we baptize ourselves in the blood of the Lamb of Christ, then we have His Spirit. Which then we have access to the Father. And we can get into the records. Now everybody else information is different, because that puts us as different fingerprints. We wouldn't be able to play the same character. That's just not the way the game is supposed to be made. It's supposed to be, everybody's supposed to be unique, individual characters. There's not supposed to be these copycat program systems flying in, these algorithm systems. That's not unique. That's not their character. That's a programmed, designed weapon character to target, maybe used for political reasons, presidential reasons. I don't know how deep it goes, but I definitely know it has something to do with that too. For voting. So they use it as weaponized. That's why it ties in with advertisement. And it's simulated to you by constantly showing you it. But that's just my opinion on it. Here's your master key. Psalms 123. To you I lift up my eyes, O you who are enthroned in the heavens. Number 4 states, our souls has had more than enough of the scorn of those who are at ease, of the contempt of the pride. So pride is one's pride to go against the truth. That's how I see it. Like, they don't feel conflicted. You think if a kid turns the opposite, is it conflicted? Does it feel any remorse? Or does it really believe it? And that's kind of what it's asking is. Number 5, the thrones for judgment were set, the thrones of the house of David. So David's house, he had the authority for judgment. States it right there. He was the throne of the judgment. So that's why I said one of the spirits down here was the spirit of judgment. And that would be like one of the spirits that the kings would pick up. Because they would have to judge. Be the judge. They're the main judge. 150. They drew near with who persecute me with evil purpose. They are far from your law. So the ones that draw near to you to do evil purposes are far from the spiritual law. They're breaking the law. They're breaking the law, so they want you killed because you're telling on them for breaking the law. 142. Your righteousness is righteousness forever, and your law is true. So, it's 163. I hate and arbor falsehood, but I love your sin. I love your law. And 64 says, 7 times a day I praise you for your righteous rules. So it states that you have to pray 7 times a day. A lot of people don't do that. I try to just pray mainly internally. So you don't see me externally praying. I pray more internally. Something I do. Number 2 on Psalms 121. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. So, once again, information that you're receiving is not from humans. man, woman, or child. We're talking about the heavens. We're talking about the Father give you information, the Creator. He will give you the Creator's information to do your job. And it depends on your abilities to amplify your gifts. You have to amplify the gift. That's why it says you'll be rewarded. And He'll give you a spiritual gift. And it'll be based on your understanding of the gift. Once you discover the gift that you received, that you'll have to understand it as you progress through the development of the gift. This is everybody. Everybody slightly has a gift. You just have to tap into it. Everybody has a gift. You just have to know where to locate it and to best use it from the good. And you can use the gift properly. If you try to use it and you're using it for the wickedness of it, then it's improper. Light is proper, darkness is improper. And they collide. That's what they do. They collide because they're in conflict of the truth. That's where the conflict relies. And it's the lack of understanding. Some things are hard to understand when you get to a certain level. Like, it's hard to understand how the sun's made. And it stays up there and does its job. It rises. It sunsets. It goes around the world and provides food for and for all life. You know? Anybody got the answers on that one? Like, the full understanding to it. It'd take a long time to fully understand that one. And then you'd actually have to see it from the outer shell to get the full base, like the full understanding of what it's really doing. That's when you have your full answer. And then you can go from there and kind of upgrade it from there. But that's just a little bit of what I have to talk about.